CUBASE 9.5 is out, and let me tell you, this is a great update. Now, I'm going to share with you in this video my top features out of this update. Hey guys, it's Chris here from mixdown.online. Now, if this is your first time here on this channel, click on the subscribe button below and the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Now, CUBASE 9.5, let's dig in. So let's first take a look at the zoning option here in CUBASE 9.5. Now, the zoning option has been implemented in CUBASE 9, where we have the bottom zoning that was added up. Which is very practical and very cool. Now, on the right side, the right zone here, we used to have only the VST tab and the media tab. Now we have two more tabs. Okay, we have the control room, okay, where we can have access to our control room within the project window, which is very, very practical. And we have the meter tab as well, where we have access to our meters that we see usually on the Mix console, and now we have them directly on the project window. So this is a very good addition for this new update. Now, if we look at the media tab here, a very cool thing is the instrument. Okay, we can actually select any instruments that are available here and just drag and drop them into the project window, and an instrument track is going to be created. So it is a very easy way to insert an instrument directly into our project window. So a very cool addition here. Now, I'm just going to close this, remove this, and by the way, this is the Halion Sonic SE3, okay, that is available in CUBASE 9.5. Now, if we go back to home here, and we have now the file browser. Now, this is one of my favorite new addition to this new update. Okay, usually what I used to do is to go into the media bay directly and just select the folders that were scanned, okay, to get to my samples. And now I have access to these folders directly into my right zone, okay, in the project window. So I click on File Browser, and there you go. I have access to all the files, audio files of all of my computer hard drives, which is very cool. And you don't need to scan the folders to access the content, okay? Everything is right there and all available for you to use, okay? So a very good addition to this update. I'm really excited about this option especially. All right, next, let's look at another very good feature out of this new update. Now we're talking about inserts. Okay, so if I click on my audio track here and I go into the Insert tab, we have now access to 16 inserts instead of 8. Back in prior versions of CUBASE, we had only 8 inserts, and the two last inserts were post-fader. Now we have more inserts, okay, we have 16 in total, and we can change the number of pre and post fader slots, which is very, very cool. Now, this is one of the features I am very excited about, okay? So if I want to modify and to change the amount of pre and post faders, this is what I need to do. I just need to click on the green line right here and bring it down. So if I bring it way down, I'm only going to have pre-fader slots, okay, insert slots. And if I bring it up, the more I bring it up, the more post-fader inserts I'm going to get, okay? So it's just a matter of deciding whatever you want to use. Usually, we tend to use like pre-fader inserts instead of post, but sometimes a post-fader insert can be very useful. So you have a lot of freedom here to decide how many post and pre-fader inserts you want to have on your channel. Now, you need to select that line again, okay, to drag this down. But I find it's a bit difficult, okay, to select that line. Sometimes I can just trying to select it and it's not going to come down. Another way you can do it, you can just right-click and set that up to pre or post. And whatever is going to be below that is going to change by itself to post. And same here, if you want to set that up to pre-fader, there you go, okay? They're all going to be pre. So by right-clicking on the slot itself, you're going to be able to bring your line up and down. So if you select this window and you see the red square around the inserts, if you right click, you're going to have access to a small menu here where you can load effects chain preset to your channel. Okay, you can always access this by clicking on the preset management button right on top, but that's another way you can select it. So very cool feature, 16 inserts per channel, amazing. Now let's talk about automation. There's like a major update here in the way we manage automation. First of all, if I uncheck the read option, I can now, right off the bat, I can now write my automation without having the read or write activated on my track, okay? So I can simply just click into my automation window, and there you go, the read option is going to be activated by itself. So now let's zoom in here, okay? There's something new that we have here in CUBASE 9.5. Look at the small circle here, okay? So you can simply just drag it up and down, and it's going to create a very nice curve on a fade. Okay, now this is a very, very cool feature. It's just going to smooth out your automations. So, and we have that small diamond sign right on top here, okay, which is going to select a portion of the automation, and you're going to be able to just drag that portion up and down and modify the entire block. Okay, this is very, very cool. Now, a very, very nice addition here is if you select the range tool, okay, you're simply going to be able to select a portion of the track and add an automation very, very quickly, like we see in Pro Tools. It was a bit more complicated back then to do the same here in CUBASE, but now in this new 9.5 update, it is very easy. So you just have to select the range tool. You select, whatever portion of the track you wanna work on, and there you go. You just bring that section down or up, and CUBASE takes care of the rest. And there you go. You have your automation done. Okay, and if you want to edit that, just go way up and you'll see that small diamond sign again, and you can drag this up and down to edit your automation. Okay, that's simple. And if you, for example, if you want to just select one event, okay, and you just want to add some automation on this event, just simply select it. Make sure you have your range tool selected. Double click on that event. Click on the down arrow. And there you go. The selection is going to go down to your automation lane, and you're going to be able to bring that up and down. Okay. And again, if you, by selecting the range tool again, you can, again, just select several dots here, several automation dots, and bring everything up and down. You can do whatever you want with this option. So, guys, I love this update. I love this new feature. It's going to increase my workflow and make my life easier. Now, another new feature for this update is the Adapt to Zoom feature. Okay, you can find that right here, where you select whatever you're using, bar, beat, or use quantize to snap your events on the grid. Now you can select Adapt to Zoom. Okay, what that means is very simple. CUBASE will snap your event to whatever you see on your grid visually. Okay, so if I zoom out, and now this is what I see. So it is going to snap to the subdivisions I see right on the grid. Okay, so if I zoom closer, I have way more subdivisions, and there you go. Okay, it is going to snap to whatever we see visually. So it does make our workflow faster when editing. Okay, so very, very cool, very nice feature, and very simple to use. I'll just go on top here and click on Adapt to Zoom if you want to activate this feature. And this will work with MIDI events, with MIDI notes, drum editor notes. It's going to work with automation and so on. So again, very nice feature, very cool. What else can I say? Very good addition here. Now let's talk about the Metronome, okay? I'm going to open the Metronome setup window, and this is what we get now, okay? So there's some new options here that are very practical. Now it ends up that the Metronome is way more flexible. Okay, so first let's look at the sounds, okay? The click sounds. We're always used to the classic CUBASE click sound that we get here. Okay, I love this click, by the way, but I know people that they just don't dig that sound. Okay, so now CUBASE has integrated a few other sounds, okay, that you can choose from. For example, a hi-hat. Okay, there's a stick. wood block. Okay, so you can just browse within all of these options and select whatever fits you best. Okay, on my side, I'm just going to keep the original CUBASE sound. If I want to do so, I'm just going to click on Use Steinberg Click Sound, and it's going to go back to the default sound. So this is where you change and you edit the sound of the click. Okay, now we have click patterns. Okay, this is new to CUBASE. You can modify and edit the click patterns. Okay, that can be very practical. Now on top I have my time signature, and the cool thing now is you can modify the click pattern per signature. Okay, so for example, I have here a 4/4 time signature, and I'm playing at a 74 BPM. Okay, and this is what I get. Okay, now if I want to modify the pattern, I just click on the edge here, okay, on the right side of the time signature, and my click pattern editor is going to open up. And now I'll be able to edit the patterns, modify the pitch, and so on. Okay, I can even change the entire pattern completely. Okay, so for example, now I'm into 4/4, and I find that the click seems a bit slow. Okay, so I love to have a kind of a double speed click for this type of BPM. So what I do in this case, I just click on the pattern here, okay, and go to double tempo. And there you go, this is what I get. So the minute I'm going to go through that time signature, it is going to change to this new double time pattern. Okay, so let's check this out. And there you go. Okay, so it's very simple to do, very simple to use. You can modify the pattern itself. So let's cut this one, bring this one to another pitch, and this one right here, and listen to what that sounds like. Okay, now let's go into our metronome setup, and I'm gonna go back into the click sounds, okay? And this is where I can modify the volume of each pitch, okay? So if I click on play, I'm gonna click on this one, bring this one down, and this one too, okay? There you go. Now another very cool feature here with the metronome is the ability to bounce in audio the CUBASE click sound or the MIDI click sound if you want to have that into audio on an audio track. Okay, so to do so, you need to set up your locators, and by clicking on the signature track option, you're going to see this render MIDI between locators or render audio click between locators. And there you go, I have my audio click track right here into audio. Okay, now this is quite cool. And next we have the direct offline processing. Now this is awesome. It's basically when you select an event and you add effects directly on the event itself. Now the way you can do this, instead of going into audio and then plugins or processes and then apply stuff directly on the event, you can just click on F7 and this new window is going to open up. It's called the direct offline processing window. You can add some processing and some plugins, and you can add more than one, okay? And this is not going to be destructive, okay? So this is a very cool thing. It's going to be CPU free, and it's not going to be destructive. You going to be allowed to go back and forth to edit these settings, and even changing the order of the effects. So let me show you. Now I have a drum loop going on here. Okay, now I'm gonna add like a delay. Okay, so let's go with my famous Echo Boy, and okay, there it is. And okay, let's try this one out. Okay, I'm just gonna click on play. Okay, Let's go with this one. So I'm going to click on apply. So if you want to just monitor the effect, just click on play here. You can loop the event if the event is short, and like I just did, and you're going to be able to monitor the effect. Now I'm happy with that effect. I'm going to click on apply, and it's going to go on the left side of this window. Now I'm going to add a reverb on top of that. Okay, so I'm going to mess that one up with a reverb. So let's go and go with Revelation. Okay, so I'm going to bring my mix to 35% to start with. I'm going to listen to what it sounds like. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to click on apply. Now you see both plugins on top of each other right here on the left section of the window. At this point, if I'm happy, this is what I get. Okay, and now look, if I do some changes here, okay, so let's say I'm going to increase the mix of the reverb directly on the wave. So if I increase that to 35%, I click on apply. Look at the wave itself. Okay, it changes directly the minute you apply the effect to your event. You're going to see it in real time. You're going to see the actual wave changing in real time. Okay, very cool. So again, I love the control you have with this kind of feature. And again, I'm going to say bravo, Steinberg. This one is awesome. Now we have an updated version of 4 plugins. So first, let's look at the compressor, our regular compressor, which now has a dry mix knob. Okay, now this is so cool. The old one didn't have that. We see this option on a lot of compressor plugins, and now we have it here in CUBASE, which is quite cool. And we have this option here, okay, the high ratio button here that is new on this version of compressor, which is going to bring a higher ratio than the maximum ratio you can get with this one, which is a 8:1 ratio. So this one will probably be like the nuke we find on the distressor, okay, where it's a high ratio setting. So if you want to compress your sound badly, you can actually try this high ratio button here to see if that works. And again, you can mix the dry signal with the compressed signal. So this is a very cool addition to compressor. Next, we have a new look for the tube compressor. This version of tube compressor looks way better than the old version. I never liked the old version. Now this one is way more inspiring. Okay, so what we see here, we have the input, output, and we have this new knob here, which is called character. So let's just have a quick listen to my drum loop and compress the drum loop and add this character function here to see how that sounds like. Okay, so now I have my drive way up here. I'm going to bring my mix to 100%. And I'm going to add some character. It's going to bring a bit of top end to the compressed sound. So I love this new feature. The character knob here can be very useful to add a bit of color to your sound. And of course, the mix knob, which is always useful for some parallel compression. All right, so now next, what we have the vintage compressor, okay, that has a new look. So let's open this one up. Now, it used to look like an 1176, but now it has a bit of more of a Neve look, which is kind of cool. So we have these the ratios right here, okay, like we had on the old version. Now it's still the same compressor, it only has a new look. But what we have here that is new on this one as well is the mix knob. Again, very useful and very cool to have this on the vintage compressor. So let's have a quick listen. Now I'm compressing a lot, but I'm playing with the mix knob, so I have a lot of the dry signal coming in. You can be more aggressive on compression, but using the mix knob can balance everything up and glue stuff together. That can be pretty cool. So you can do this with this plugin, and again, it has a very cool look, and so far so good. So now let's look at the last plugin here, which is Magneto. Now Magneto has a brand new look as well, which look way better than the old version too, okay? So it's basically the same plugin with a new look. The thing they're gonna have to fix though, they still call it Magneto 2 here on the menu, but it is actually called Magneto MK3, okay? Just a quick thing to fix up. So it's a pretty cool plugin if you wanna get that tape saturation on your sound. So let's try this one out. So this is what we get with these plugins, new look and a couple of new features with the mix knob especially. So pretty cool stuff. All right, so now next we have a very, very cool feature here with the sampler track. Okay, now we can drag a MIDI event directly into the audio sampler, okay, which is going to convert itself into audio, and then you just do whatever you do with the audio sampler function here in Cubase. Now, just as an example, I loaded Alien Sonic SE3, which comes with Cubase 9.5. Okay, so that's the new update of Alien Sonic. And we have a new synth, a new instrument as well within the Alien Sonic. So it's called Flux, and I didn't have time to play with it yet, but I just used a quick patch just to show you this example with the MIDI and the audio sampler. Okay, so let's just listen to this segment here. All right, so I'm just going to drag this down into the audio sampler, and it's going to analyze it. It's going to convert it into audio, okay, which is quite cool. And there you go, it's done. Now you can work with this as you usually do with this function. So let's say I'm going to just quick reverse it. And there you go. So very good feature, very cool. So it's not only made for audio. Now you can use a MIDI event to do the same in the audio sampler. Let's look at some other features here. Now on top, we used to have device menu, and now that has been renamed to studio menu. Okay, if you click on studio, you'll see the studio setup, which used to be device setup. And now on Cubase 9.5, Cubase supports 64-bit processing on supported plugins. Now this is good news. This will actually give you way more headroom opposed to 32-bit floats. So the 64-bit float will give you more headroom, but only on supported plugins. So if you want to change this, you just need to go into the studio setup, click on VST Audio System, and look for Processing Precision. Click on it, select 64 bits, and there you go. You're only going to need to restart Cubase, but this of course will increase a bit of the workload on your CPU. So you have to keep that in mind, but it's there, it's available in Cubase 9.5. Now we have the cursor here that if we want to move to a specific place and start playing in the project window, we need to click in the transport on top to move our cursor. Now we can do it anywhere we want in the project window by keeping our fingers on Shift and Alt or Shift and option. Okay, you keep your fingers on these two keys, and there you go. You can gonna be able to click anywhere in the project window, and your cursor is gonna follow, and you're just gonna be able to start playing whatever you want. So these are small changes and small updates that increase the workflow overall. And now last but not least, we're talking about colors. It's not sound related, but it's quite cool anyways. So if we go in the Cubase menu and click on Preferences, we now have a color scheme window, which will select the color of your Cubase basically. So you can choose between different tones, and this is what it does basically. So it is quite cool, honestly. It's like I said, it's not sound related, but it's always fun to have access to an easy way of changing the colors in Cubase. You can even select one of your own, for example. If you want to go crazy, you can do so. This is way too much, but you can go to this end if you wish to. So let's get back to the original color. And now you can even, like the previous version, you can change the line, the grid colors and stuff. And this is where you're going to be able to do so in the custom colors right here, okay? So these are my favorite features out of this CUBASE 9.5 update. I have to say, after only one day playing with this update, I am pretty impressed. You know, it is worth it to get this update for sure. So if you want to know more and you want to get this update for yourself, I'm going to leave the link in the description down below. All right, guys, so this is it for today. Leave your comments, your questions down below, and don't forget to like, to share this video, and to subscribe to this channel if you're not already. All right, I'll see you next time.